Something unthinkable is quietly being whispered in the halls of power. The possibility that the IRS as we know it may one day vanish. It sounds insane, right? The agency that's collected income tax for over a century, the symbol of federal enforcement and financial fear, just phased out. But behind closed doors, something is shifting, quietly, strategically. And for those paying attention, the writing is already on the wall. Let's start with the obvious. The current tax system is broken. The IRS is underfunded, overwhelmed, and outdated. Even after receiving a massive budget infusion in 2022, it's still plagued by inefficiency, data breaches, and public mistrust. Millions of Americans dread filing season, not because they're doing anything wrong, but because the system itself is designed to confuse, penalize, and extract. So here's the uncomfortable question. What if America didn't need the IRS? What if, instead of obsessively tracking every dollar earned and spent, the government could generate its revenue externally, from automated systems that pull value from the economic environment itself? This isn't science fiction. It's quietly becoming possible. At the center of this shift is programmable money. Blockchain-based currency systems like central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, are no longer experimental. They're being designed with features that could automate taxation, remove the need for audits, and track financial flows in real time. But that's just the beginning. Imagine a financial system where taxes are no longer filed, they're embedded, where every transaction contains a micro-royalty that feeds back into a decentralized public treasury, where your digital wallet automatically routes fractions of payments into infrastructure, defense, or universal services. No forms, no loopholes, no late penalties, just ambient value extraction. This concept, often referred to by insiders as invisible taxation, is gaining traction in think tanks and policy groups around the world. And America, despite its slow public rollout, is further along than most realize. Let's look at the clues. The IRS has already begun outsourcing digital tax reporting to private fintech platforms. In 2023, it expanded its use of third-party payment processors and blockchain analytics firms to track crypto transactions. These moves aren't just about enforcement, they're about testing infrastructure. At the same time, the Treasury has launched pilot programs with smart contract platforms to simulate programmable taxation models. These trials are small, mostly within closed enterprise networks, but they reveal a deeper ambition: taxation without friction. And there's another force driving this transition: external revenue. The U.S. government is experimenting with systems that could generate revenue from sources beyond its citizens. Think about it. What if tokenized assets traded globally through American infrastructure produce microfees payable to the state? What if foreign companies using U.S. blockchain networks paid protocol-level tolls? What if the dollar itself, in a digital form, became a value-extracting platform that brought in revenue every time it was used anywhere in the world? This is the vision behind externalized finance. A system where value creation and value capture are decoupled from labor taxation. The government no longer relies solely on citizens to fund its operations, but instead draws value from the infrastructure it controls. And make no mistake, the U.S. controls more of the global financial infrastructure than most people realize. The SWIFT system, the dollar clearing network, the back end of Visa and MasterCard, and now increasingly the underlying blockchain rails of tokenized capital markets. With these tools in place, America doesn't need to take your money. It can build systems where the money comes to it. And as absurd as that sounds, the early stages are already here. Let's not forget, the IRS was only created in 1862 as a wartime measure. It wasn't supposed to be permanent. The federal income tax wasn't even fully legalized until 1913. In historical terms, the current system is still young and entirely replaceable. Now, there's no official announcement coming tomorrow, but if you think the elites aren't planning for a post-IRS world, think again. Billionaires already use offshore havens, private foundations, and synthetic asset classes to avoid taxation. The government knows it can't keep up. But instead of fighting the loopholes, it's quietly building a world where those loopholes don't matter because the rails themselves generate revenue. This brings us to the most important question. What does this mean for you? It means a coming shift in the way wealth is measured, moved, and taxed. It means financial sovereignty won't be about hiding income. It'll be about choosing which systems you participate in. It means those who understand blockchain, programmable value, and digital asset infrastructure will be decades ahead of the average person still worried about W-2 form deductions. It means the IRS might not be abolished by fire, but by obsolescence. And it means your freedom, your privacy, and your financial future will depend on how well you adapt. Because here's the truth. The old system wasn't built for you. It was built to control you. But the new one? You might actually get to help build it. And if America executes this correctly, it could usher in a golden era of frictionless value exchange, decentralized public funding, and post-tax economic models that free individuals instead of punishing them. That's the upside. But there's a dark side too. If these tools fall into the wrong hands, if surveillance replaces sovereignty, if automation replaces agency, then this new system could become more oppressive than anything the IRS ever imagined. That's why it's crucial to stay informed. Because the next financial revolution won't be televised, it'll be coded. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss the moment when taxation as we know it quietly fades into history. If you want to stay ahead of this shift, learn the systems before they're imposed on you, and unlock the suppressed strategies for true financial autonomy, subscribe to Wealth Signal. Because the old rules are collapsing, and the new rules are being written right now. So where does this all lead in the next 5 to 10 years? Picture a world where the U.S. Treasury doesn't just collect taxes, it earns revenue passively from global digital transactions. Picture a government that no longer monitors your income, but simply receives its share automatically every time value changes hands. Picture your paycheck, your online sales, even your decentralized gig work, all routed through rails that remove friction, increase clarity, and optimize flow. And not just for governments, but for you. Because in this new system, what you keep might be more than just what's left after taxes. It might be programmable, protected, borderless. You might choose to opt into tax-efficient ecosystems that reward productivity, not just penalize success. And your financial freedom could expand, not shrink, if you know how to navigate it. Of course, adoption won't be instant. There will be pushback, legal fights, debates about privacy, consent, and government overreach. But none of that will stop the core evolution, because programmable finance is already outperforming legacy systems on nearly every metric: speed, transparency, efficiency, and scale. And when technology outpaces trust, systems are forced to adapt or die. That's what's coming for the IRS. Not destruction, not reform, but irrelevance. And as blockchain technology becomes the operating layer of the new economy, we will all have a choice: build with it, benefit from it, or be left behind by it. The sooner you begin studying this shift, the platforms, the tokens, the protocols, the sooner you unlock the power to stay ahead of it. The world is changing. Quietly, permanently. And if you're still relying on the same rules and expectations from the 20th century, you're already behind. The question isn't whether the IRS will disappear. It's whether you'll be ready when it does. If you want to stay ahead of this shift, learn the systems before they're imposed on you, and unlock the suppressed strategies for true financial autonomy. Subscribe to Wealth Signal. Because the old rules are collapsing, and the new rules are being written right now.